Well, I would like to appreciate you all for tuning in, and also those of you who have watched my first broadcast on this page. It's about insight into the Moal vision. And if you have not watched it, it's very, very important that you do so that you can understand why this vision in the first place, and you will be blessed. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Right, today's broadcast is the start of my new series. I've called it My Journey from Courtship to Life After Honeymoon. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, so this is the episode 1. I don't know how long this series is going to take, how many weeks, how many months, I don't know, but we'll see. Okay. I hope that you would join every 2 weeks. So I'll be live every 2 weeks on this page until the end of the series. Okay. And the aim of this series is to use the lessons I have learned so far in this journey to help especially singles and young couples. Okay. I'm very young in my marriage. We are now getting to 4 months since we got married. Okay, so my experience really would help those of you who are, maybe you just got married or you're about to get married, you are courting and that kind of thing. Okay, if you are 20 years in your marriage, you could also learn something, you never know. Okay, just open your heart and, listen to what God has for you through me. Yeah, okay, so have an open mind. Be ready, ask the Holy Spirit to change something in you as you hear me. I pray that God will do what He has promised to do with our singles and our married people. And as you are connected to this vision, I pray that the purpose of God for this vision will come into fruition in your life as well. Okay, I'm going to lay a foundation for today. So those of you who are in Swal, you know my husband. Some of you have been in contact with him through the WhatsApp group. And some of you have heard about how we started, but you don't know into details. And of course, I can't really go into details because it's a very long story. So today, I just want to lay a foundation about how we met. Okay, how we met, so that the rest of the series will make sense to you. Okay. The version that I have about how we met is completely different from his version. So maybe one day when he happens to also speak about how we met, you may hear something different, maybe a few similarities. I don't know how come it's different, but this is my story. Okay, so how did we meet? I first saw my husband in August 2008. That was 2008. So basically, it's been how many years? 11 years. Welcome on board, Beatrice. It was in my church. We met in church. I had just been in the country for barely a month in the UK. And it was a youth day. Or our church used to have different branches, like 7 branches. So all the youth from all those branches would come together in the headquarters, in the head office, and then have an evening service. So one of these evening service, 2008, I went. I was very new in the church. I didn't know a lot of people. I was very quiet. And I was also from a different branch. So we went to the head branch and then with my friends from the other branch. So we went very early so that we can have a good seat and all of that. And I was sitting at the back of the church with my friends. Lo and behold, I saw this young guy just walked in front of the stage, and all of a sudden he caught my attention, and I was like, who is this? It was just so strange. He just caught my attention. It was almost like out of the crowd, one person just stood out, that kind of thing. So I was wondering who he was, and the reason why, Nana Jumai, welcome on board. Okay, so the reason why I think he caught my attention was the way he was dressed. And interestingly, up to now, he says he didn't dress that way. Okay, so his version is so different from me. He was dressed, in Ghana. Those of you who are in Ghana, there is this kind of dress that the men do. They pull their trouser to their waist. Okay, it's actually a little bit above their waist, and we call it pimpinis. I don't know if anybody remembers it. Okay, so maybe those in other countries, you may not know what that is, but Ghana in particular, that dressing is called pimpinis. So when I saw him, I thought, how can a young, handsome guy like you, be dressed in that way? Pimpinis, what are you doing? Okay, so anyway, he said it's not true, but that's what I saw. Okay, and that was why he caught my attention. So I said to the girl sitting by me, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And then he said, oh, his name is Adam. He's just come out from university. He just completed university. So that is why you haven't seen him in the church for a while now. So, oh, okay, interesting. And that was it. I didn't see him again. 2 weeks later, I had a dream. And in the dream, I saw that the two of us, me and him, we were standing in front of our church. The bishop of the church, he was introducing us to the church. But I don't know what the introduction was about. I didn't hear anything. All that I knew was I was in white and we were in front of the church and we're being introduced to the church. I didn't understand the dream. So I just forgot about it. Anyway, I came back to church that Sunday. I spoke to, so somebody is correcting me that the pimpinis, it's in English, it's a high waist kind of trouser. Thank you, Beatrice, for that correction. Okay, so Prince is also saying pimpinis was old-fashioned those days. Okay, so it's like a high-waisted trouser, that kind of thing. Anyway, so I had this dream, went back to church, and I said to the girl that, told me his name, I said to her, I had a dream about that guy, and I saw that we were standing in front of the church and we were being introduced to the church, but I don't know what it was about. The girl started jubilating. She was so happy. She said, peace, peace, peace. He's going to be your husband. He's going to be your husband. And I was so shocked. I said, why? What do you mean? I don't know this guy from anywhere. And I didn't think about him when I went home. I don't have any feelings for him. I don't love him. There is nothing. So I was surprised when the girl was jubilating. And then she said to me that in the church, there is a rule whereby anytime people are starting a relationship towards marriage, they will be introduced to the church. So they'll bring them in front of the church and say, so and so have started a relationship and we want you all to pray for them, blah, blah, blah. Yes. So she explained it to me that is what I saw in the dream. I said, really? So I said to her that personally, I wouldn't want to start a relationship and then go and stand in front of the church for them to introduce us. What about if the relationship does not work? Would they bring us back to the church and say, these people started a relationship and it didn't work? I said, what an embarrassment. I said, no. I would never allow it to happen. So I said to the girl that I won't do it. Even if anything, I won't do. And she said, oh, it's a church rule. It's the church policy. I said, okay, cool. So from that time, I decided that I'm going to avoid this guy. Because number one, I didn't love him. I didn't have any feelings or whatsoever for him. I wasn't thinking about him. So anytime we went to church, if I see him coming from this direction, I'll go the other direction. I just did not want to come into contact with him. But I noticed something very strange, that anytime he saw me, he will find a way to come to me and say, how are you? It was like he was looking for an opportunity to speak to me. And already I didn't want to speak to him, so he was annoying me. I was really, really annoyed. when I asked him later on, he said when he saw me, he felt like he's seen me before. He thought he knew me somewhere. So out of courtesy, he didn't want it to be like, oh, we've met before and you see me and you don't say hello. He wasn't sure where he's met me before. And we've never met, but to him, he thought that he's seen me somewhere before. Okay, so I was playing this avoidance game with him. And then because we were in different branches, I wasn't seeing him. The only time that we would see each other was when there was like joint meetings or Wednesday prayer meetings whereby all the churches would go to the head office and pray. That was the only time I was seeing him. And one of those days, we had a young adult breakfast in the church. So all the youth from all the branches came again, the young adults. We came together and I was late to that program. When I got there was only one seat left. And funny enough, that one seat was by his side. So I said to myself, I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to sit there because I know how this guy will always make an effort to come and speak to me. I know that if I sit there, he's probably going to ask questions and all of that. So I said I wouldn't sit there. I was pretending I didn't see the seat. I was just hovering around and, chatting with people. So one of the youth leaders called me. She said, "Peace, there's a seat here. Come and sit down." I thought, my God. And the way she did it publicly, I couldn't avoid it. So I went and sat down. I sat down, went to get my food, and then started eating. I was so serious because I didn't want him to. I didn't even want to look at him for him to say anything. And then the first question came, "Are you enjoying your food?" I thought, wow, will you not just leave me alone to eat my food? Okay, so I said, yes, I'm enjoying the food. And then he was asking me, "So where are you from? What's your name? Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Ghana." "Where in Ghana are you from?" And I thought, what do you want to know? Why? You know that thing it can be very annoying when you are not interested in somebody and they are asking you questions, especially personal questions, you get so upset. And some of you guys, maybe at the moment you are trying to get a lady's attention and she's bluffing you and she's like, "Don't call me. When you see me pass by here," and you are wondering what's going on. Sometimes they genuinely do not have any feelings for you. They don't have any feelings for you. Yeah, that was what I was feeling, and he was literally upsetting me. Okay, so that passed. And then I was in the choir in my branch. He was also in the choir in his branch. And once in a while, they will call a joint choir practice. So I will go to the choir practice, and it meant that I would see him again. So basically, anytime there was something joint meetings, I will go and then I'll see him. And then we were having a love feast, which is like get together. That is how I think they call it in Ghana or in some of the African countries, get together or love feast, whereby the church, everybody will bring food from their country. It's like they want to portray the culture from their country and all of that. And then you eat together, sing and dance. Okay, so that kind of thing. And we were asked to bring people, new people. So I went for the choir practice. I saw him. And interestingly, I went to him and said, "We are having a love feast in our church. I want to invite you." So I invited him. I invited a few people from the choir. And he said to me that they, in their church, the branch, they are also having a love feast on that same day. So he may not be able to come, but then we can exchange numbers. And from there, if he's able to come, he will text me to let me know. That was how we exchanged numbers. And even when we exchanged the numbers, we were not really talking because there was no, we were not talking. Once in a while, he will send, I think every Sundays, he will send text messages. Normally he will send these encouraging, motivational messages every Sunday. He still does that till now. Even today, he sent me some. And he sends it to everybody on his list, on his contact list. So I got one. So every Sunday I was receiving it, and that was all was happening. And then once in a while, he would send me a message, "How are you?" And I'll respond. Okay. And it got to a point, I started having pimples on my face. I had a lot of pimples after a few months when I came into UK. I started having a lot of pimples on my face, and it was so bad. In fact, my face was almost rotten. You know, now when people see my face, it's like, seriously? And sometimes when people see me, they would ask, "What's going on with your face?" And I'm the kind of person, when you are being very negative, I start crying. Okay, I start crying. That's why I don't like negative people. If you are negative, I'll avoid you. Okay. They will start asking, "What's going on with your face?" And I start crying. So we went for this evangelism, another joint evangelism. We went, and some of the mothers, a lady came to me and was asking me, "What's going on with your face? Look at your face. And what are you using for your face?" Everybody sees you. They want to give you solution. So it was very overwhelming at that time. And I started crying. I was crying, and then he happened to be around. So he came around, and then he put his hand around me to hug me and to say that, what's going on? He wanted to understand why I was crying. I couldn't explain to him why I was crying. So I went home, and then he texted me to find out, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And I said to him that, I'm going through challenges, blah, 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 a few stuff that I was going through that I wasn't happy. I said to him that, I'm not happy, and that I can't really tell him everything over the phone. So we agreed that we will meet up. We'll meet up at a place whereby I can tell him what is going on with me. So that was also another level. We agreed on a date, and then we went to a resort center. It's called Sarikis Leisure Park. So we went there, and the idea was that when we go, we're going to do bowling, because there's a bowling center there. We're going to do bowling. So he asked me to buy socks and all of that. And then after the bowling, we'll sit down, talk and eat, literally make use of the time. And funny enough, I don't even know how I got the time to go, because at that time, my people were not at home. They had gone to work. So I went, I met him at 10 a.m. We started talking, and we talked and talked and talked to the extent that we did not do the bowling. Actually, we were there from 10 to like 6 p.m. We didn't do the bowling. We're just talking, and we're asking each other questions. I was asking him questions. Has he been in a relationship before? After I've told him what I was going through and all of that. And then we now started talking about relationship. Have you been in a relationship before? He would say no. He asked me. At that time, I was in a relationship, and it was a distance relationship. So I told him everything. We started talking. He told me some of the things that he's experienced as a child. So it was almost like we started knowing each other's secret things that people didn't really, we wouldn't have spoken to other people about. We started sharing it with each other. So that was how the friendship started. We became very, very close. We started talking almost every day. He will call me. Sometimes when I call him, he wouldn't pick up the phone. Immediately I dropped the phone, he will call me. So he was spending so much of his credit or his minute on me, and I wasn't really spending mine. Anyway, that was how everything started, basically. People were asking me, what's going on with you and Adam? Church, the youth were asking, what's going on with you and Adam? And I was very surprised, because we hardly talk in church. So I was wondering, where were they getting that thing, from? And actually, we had become so close to the extent that personally, I was expecting him to ask me to be his girlfriend. At that time, I was in the relationship, but the relationship had come to an end. It had come to an end, so I was free and all of that. And so I was expecting that he would ask me to start a relationship with him, but he was not saying anything. He was not saying anything. I would ask him, so what's going on with us? And he would say, nothing, there's nothing, we are friends. We are friends. I said, okay, how many female friends do you have? He will mention a few female friends. And I'll say, okay, how many of them do you speak to? Because we were speaking almost every day. How many of them do you speak to? Like the way you speak to me, he would say, none of them. He would say, oh, I spoke to this one 3 months ago or a year ago, or, and so I was sure that, we had more contact. So what is really going on here? Do you just want to be talking to me, or what's going on? And by this time, we were both growing. When I met him, he wasn't working. He had just finished university, so he was looking for a job. Yeah, he was looking for a job. And then he found a job, he started working. And we were not talking every day anymore because of work. He was working. I had just finished my A-levels, and I have also started university. So whilst I was in uni, he was working and all of that. So we were not really talking every day anymore. But then we knew that we had that connection, that friendship was there. We talk maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks or once every 3 weeks. And it was like that. So I would ask him what's going on, because at this time we have been in the friendship for like 2 years and nothing really was happening. And I kept asking him questions. He would just say, I just want friendship. So I said, okay, you told me you don't speak to ladies like the way you speak to me. So what makes me very special? He would tell me, you are just uniquely my friend. And I would laugh. I said, what does uniquely my friend mean? And it became a whole issue because, as a lady, you don't want to spend so much time with somebody when you are not sure where the friendship is going. Okay, so I was really, really curious to know what was going on. So one day he called me. He realized that I was really putting pressure on him. So he called me. He said, after church, can you wait for me? I want to have a word with you. And I said, okay. So I was thinking, maybe this is the time he's going to tell me, peace, can we start a relationship? I was looking forward. I was very, very hopeful. And then we went. And he said, I just want you to let me know what you think. Please answer me honestly, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay. And then he asked me the question, Peace, can you be my friend? I'm sure some of you are getting upset already. Peace, can you be my friend? And I was so shocked to the extent that I didn't know what to say. I was thinking, did you call me to ask me for friendship? I thought we were already friends. We are already friends. We're already talking. He said, no, I want to specifically ask you this. Would you be my friend? And I was shocked, disappointed, angry. But then I responded, yes, I want to be your friend. And the rest is history. Okay, if I want to go into it, it would just be a long time. It would be a long time. So honestly, I just had to give him that friendship. Some of you know about the period whereby I was so desperate and all of that. And we had a lot of challenges at that time because I was personally immature. I wasn't ready for anything. I didn't know anything. I didn't have any purpose. All that I wanted was relationship, marriage. And, I had this notion, which I know that most people in Africa have this notion as well, singles, that you have to get married after university. So most people after university, they want to get married. So that was on my mind. And I thought, okay, I'm in university, I'm second year, going to third year. I want to get married after university. So if you are around me and all that you are asking me for is friendship, then that is not good enough. Okay. So it was a whole big issue, but he specifically asked me, can we be friends? And I said, yes, we can be friends. But sometimes you say yes and the yes is not born again. So my yes was really not born again because I could see that there is something more than friendship in here. And at this time, I had come to like him. I had come to want that closeness with him. But then he kept saying friendship, friendship, friendship. And I said, okay, that's good, cool. I'll give you your friendship if that's what you want. So hopefully in 2 weeks' time, I'll come back and share more about how we lived that friendship. Okay, I'll talk about my desperation for marriage, what changed during that time, and how the whole friendship thing now turned around to become a relationship, and how we are now married. Okay, so interesting story. If I want to talk about it, it will be a whole day thing. It's very long. Okay, so this is the history of how our friendship started, and some of the lessons that I've learned within that time is that you can meet your husband at any time, anywhere. Okay, it can be in church. And I was there early. Maybe if I didn't go to the program early, I may not have seen him. Okay, so maybe those of you who have been going to places late, this is a lesson that you can learn. Go to places early. If you have to go to church, plan early and go early. Don't go when the program is about to finish. Then you go and close the program. There was a day that we're going for, I think it was one of the youth programs, and we went to a friend's house to dress up. And she said that, oh, as for her, I was trying to hurry them up because I could see that the time was going and they were not trying to hurry up. And she said to me, oh, as a lady, you have to go to places late so that when you enter, you can do your catwalk and people will be watching you. I looked at her, I said, it is an indisciplined lady who does that. It is an indisciplined lady who goes to places late. Because once you are always late, everybody knows you as a latecomer. It means that you are not disciplined. You can't discipline yourself to wake up early. You can't discipline yourself to plan the day, plan the time. You know the program is starting at 10. Why are you waking up at 9 o'clock to start going to have your bath? When you know the journey alone to travel back is 1 hour. It's indiscipline, okay? So maybe you think, you have to go to places late so that you can do your catwalk and you enter and everybody's looking at you. In fact, it's stupidity. It's stupidity and indiscipline. So that is a lesson to someone out there. Don't entertain that, okay? And also, one of the lessons is to take your dreams seriously, because God speaks to us through dreams. It's one of the ways that God speaks. It's also a way that the devil can also speak to you. Okay, those of you on the WhatsApp group, last year I shared a lot of links about dreams and their meanings, which I have personally been following from this man. He's a minister. His name is Kelvin Ewan. He's from Bahamas. He talks about dreams and how when you have a dream, if the dream is bad, if it's a negative dream, it means that you have to wake up and cancel the dream. You literally have to kick against the dream and say, you are not happening. I stop you. If you don't kick against the dream, if you don't fast and pray and break the dream, it would happen with time. In the same way, if you have a dream and the dream is positive, you've got to wake up and receive it. So you say, God, I bind my spirit, my soul, my body to this dream. I receive it. It's a good dream. I receive it. You pray into it to receive it. Because if you don't say anything, automatically you have permitted a dream to happen. You've given it permission. You've allowed it. So it would happen to you. Yeah. And that is the lesson. Because this dream, the dream that I had, that we were being introduced, I personally didn't even know the meaning. But the girl, a young girl, she was like probably 13 or 14 by that time. I was a little bit older than her. And she interpreted a dream. And it has happened. It has happened. Even though at that time I didn't accept the dream. But later on, when I started feeling that, okay, where things are going, you know, I like him and blah, 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 I started praying into it. And today we are here. So take your dream seriously. Sometimes people say, I've come across preachers who have said, God does not show you your husband. God does not tell you marry this person or don't marry this person. And, you know, God will not show you your husband in your dream. You are just, maybe you are just daydreaming. You just had plenty of food to eat, or you are thinking about the person too much, so you took it into dreams. It could be true, okay? But then I personally believe that God speaks to us, and dreams is one of the ways that God will speak to you. Okay, you could be a dreamer, you could be somebody who sees vision, you can see the thing openly, you may have a trance, you may have impressions and all of that. So God has different ways that he speaks to people. And when you have a dream, you've got to pray into it. Okay, God can show you. I have come across great men and women of God as well who have said, God said to me, this is my husband, or God led me to know that this is my husband. Okay, sometimes God may not speak to you clearly, or he may not even give you any signs, but then the people around you, you know, or even how you feel, your peace, the peace that you feel about a person could be the sign that the person is for you. Okay, so pay attention to your dreams, and if it is negative, of course, you've got to fight it. Yeah, so this is where I'm going to love and leave you. I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast so far. So next week, I'm going to talk about desperation, how I discovered my purpose, courtship itself, the things that we did, you know, the practical things that we did during the courtship. And then even when you are supposed to go and meet the families, you're going to see his family for the first time, you're going to see the lady's family for the first time, you know, expectations and how to behave, what to do or not to do, and all of that. We'll go into depth about this. Yeah. So if you've got any questions, maybe you are currently in a friendship with somebody and they keep telling you all they want is friendship. Sometimes that's all they want. You have to be able to weigh and know whether this thing, do I need to pursue it or do I just have to cut it off? Because I don't believe in just being friends for a long time if nothing is coming out of it. Okay, sometimes it could be some friendships could take long and then it still will end into marriage because there is a divine purpose, and that is what has happened to me. So in the course of the program, it will make sense. But then, you know, if it's just the person just want to waste your time, it means that you've got to end the friendship. Okay. So if you've got any question in that area, maybe you've been friends for 20 years, nothing is happening, send me a message. Let's look at the story. Let's look at your situation and see, will this work, or is this one of the friendships that are just here to waste your time? Okay. Because maybe because the person is in your life, you are not allowing other people to get closer to you, and it can delay things. Yeah. So speak to me, send me your message, and then let's look at it. If you've got any question about courtship, also speak to me. You can send a question through my inbox so that when I'm dealing with that aspect, I can answer your question Okay, if you've just got married and you are thinking of how to adjust, maybe you want something a certain way, your husband wants it another way, or even it's in the area of sex. One lady was asking, what do you do if your husband wake you up at night to have sex? Okay, and it's not a strange question. It's something that happens. I believe that every married person can attest to it, that they've been woken up at some point, or even the lady will wake up the man at some point. So it's not just the man waking up the woman. It could be the woman waking up the man for sex as well. So these are some of the things. If maybe you don't know how to handle it, it's becoming a problem, send me a message so that when I'm tackling that aspect, I would touch on it to help you or to help somebody out there who's also going through a similar thing. Okay, so once again, please share the broadcast. I'm going to end it here. Share the broadcast with your friends so that we can reach as many people as possible. I'm going to run off now. Enjoy the music in the background. God bless you for your time. Let your Holy Spirit control every situation that is true. Oh my mind, oh my cares and burdens, I will. Please share with somebody before you leave. Tag at least 10 people, especially if you're a Swalian. You know the tax, you know the rule already. Let's spread the vision. Let's go global.